So we'll be taking up a new topic now. That is stability, stabilizability, controllability, and observability. This is a broader topic. We'll go into the details of each of these terms that I have written here. But before actually going into this topic, let us first of all try to understand the background of this topic, what we are going to actually study in this. So if we see so far, this is the state model that we can obtain for any LTI system. And modeling, we have seen how we get the state space models for dynamical systems that we have seen in detail. Now, once we have the dynamical model with us, the problem that we have solved so far is given x naught and up, find xt and therefore yt. This is what we have done so far, and the numericals also we have done about this. Once we have been given the initial conditions and the input function, we have to find the state vector as well as the output, isn't it? This problem is basically known as analysis problem. It's a forward problem actually. Forward problem means you have been given this u and x naught, and you solve this system of ODEs to get x. You actually get this x. That's the solution of this equation. And then you substitute this x here. You already know, and from that you get the output 1. This is what we have done so far. But the control problem is something different. Control problem is something like this. And that's the problem that we are going to address through this topic. Control problem is you know the initial state as well as you know the final desired state. That means the solution is actually known. You know the initial state and you know the final desired state, and you are asked, get me u. Get me u which would steer the system from any initial state to any desired final state. Control problem is get the value of u which is actually known as the control input, which is a function of time, to steer the system from any initial state in the state space, from any initial state in the state space. Hello. Hello. From any initial state in the state space to any final desired state. Because if we consider again the problem that we have solved so far, and if you know you know the initial conditions, you actually solve this system of ODEs to get x. Now, if you change u, x is going to change. So, when we talk about the control problem is the reverse problem. That means you actually know the solution, you actually know what should be the final desired state, and the initial state is also known. You actually are asked to find u, which will take the system from any initial state to any final state in the state space. Do you get me? So if you consider the state space, two-dimensional state space, this is x1, this is x2. The problem that we have been solving so far is like this. You know the initial state vector, you know. That's like this. So this is the initial state vector, this is x naught actually, which has two components, x1 naught and x2 naught. Now when we apply an input to the system, what actually happens is, I had discussed with you very early in this course about Euler's method of solving ODEs, which is actually a numerical method of solving ODEs, and we have seen that the differential equations actually have a time evolving solution. That means if you solve this equation numerically, ये वाली इक्वेशन अगर आप न्यूमेरिकली सॉल्व करते हो, आपको इनिशियल कंडीशंस पता है, तो फाइनली जो आपको सॉल्यूशन मिलेगा वो इस फॉर्म में होगा. You will have the time and xt. At time t equal to 0, you know xt, that's given. And using this and the step time, we actually are able to find the value of xt at different times. For example, you can find, if you take the step time as 0.01 seconds, at 0.01 second you can find xt, then 0.02 seconds you can find xt, depending upon आपका जो न्यूमेरिकल एल्गोरिथम आप कितनी देर के लिए रन करते हो, मान लीजिए 10 सेकंड्स के लिए आप रन करते हो, you will get the solutions for all times at the intervals of 0.01 seconds up to time t is equal to 10 seconds. And then you can plot the solution here in this state space, like this is the solution, this is the state vector, or this is the state of the system at time t equal to 0, at time t equal to 0.01, this may be another point, this will be represented by another point, so on like this. So it will go on, the solution will go on evolving like this in this state space. It will move like this. This, what have we called this as? Yes.
Trajectory, sir.
This is the state trajectory, isn't it? This is the forward problem that we have solved. This may be the value of state at some final time, which here is t equal to 10 seconds. Depends upon for how much time you have actually obtained the solution of the system of equations. This is the forward problem that we have been discussing so far. Now the problem that I am talking about, which I have named as the control problem. Control problem is the inverse problem or the reverse problem. What we do in this is, you know the initial state and you know the final state also at some final time ts, let's say. You know the initial state. Let me draw the state space once again. This is x1, this is x2. You know the initial state, that is x0. And you also know the final state, it's somewhere here. That's x at some time, let's say tf, final time tf. You know the state vector can move in the state space by applying an input. When you apply an input, you can move the state vector in the state space. Now, the control problem is this: find the x0, find ut, so that x0 is steered to some final state xtf. The path through which it is steered, it may be stated or may not be stated. We may be interested only in the final state tf, or we may also be interested in the path actually it takes in reaching from x0 to xtf. That depends upon the the complexity of the control problem. So the problem that I am stating here is simple. That means you want to find ut so that this system is steered from some initial state to find some final state xtf in the state space. Are you getting me? So the problem is find ut which steers the system state from initial position x t naught to a desired value x t. This problem is more difficult to solve as compared to the previous problem. Mathematically speaking, the previous problem was an open loop problem. Open loop problem means you know x, and you are asked to solve. It's a simple mathematical problem. You are asked to solve this set of differential equations. The problem that I am going to discuss now is slightly complicated in the sense that here you know x as well as you know the final state. You know the initial state as well as the final state. Initial state is given. You also know the final solution of this system of equations at some final time tf. You are asked a question: what should be the value of u? Now the solution to this problem or the answer to this problem has got a number of complications. First question that you should ask yourself is: does such a u exist which can take the system states from any initial state in the state space to any final state in the state space? Are you getting me? The control problem is stated above is more complicated than the analysis problem we have discussed so far. There are a number of layers to this problem. First question that you have to ask yourself is: does such an input function ut exist which can steer the system from any initial state in the state space to any final desired position in the state space. That means this is the state space. You start with any random position in the state space and you select any final desired state. So you ask yourself a question: does such an input ut exist? For example, I take this as the initial state and this as the final state, and I'm asking you, can you get me ut which will steer the system states from this initial state to this final state? So this question you have to ask yourself for any random initial state in the state space and any final random desired position in the state space. This is a question that needs to be asked before you actually get a solution to this problem. And if such an input function ut exists, the next problem is that give me that ut, find that ut. And the thing that I mentioned earlier is that sometimes the problem statement may be such that when you are given the initial state and the final state, you may also be given what should be the path it should take in reaching from initial state to the final state. For example, there are a number of problems that are stated in control system literature. Like some problem is that you want the system states to be steered from any initial state to any final state in minimum time. That's one problem. You may have to find the ut which will steer the system states from any initial state to any final desired state using minimum energy. So that is increasing the complexity of the problem. I am stating a simple problem in the beginning, wherein we are asking ourselves a question. We are actually stating the control problem like this. We have to find the input function which will steer the system states from any initial state position x0 in the state space to any final state value xtf in the state space. So I am asking myself a question: does such an input function ut exist, which can steer the system states from any initial state in the state space to any final desired position in the state space? If the answer to this question is yes, that means such an input function ut exists, which can steer the system states from any initial state in the state space to any final desired position in the state space, then I will proceed to actually find that ut. If the answer to this question is yes, then the next step is to actually find the input function ut which will steer the system from any initial state x0 to any desired final state x. This problem is actually known as the control problem or the design problem. This problem is actually known as. Are you getting me? I need at least one response. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is a design problem. This is a very important problem in control system. That means you actually have to design this ut, input function ut, which will actually serve the control objective, serve the purpose for which a control system has been designed. Now, there are many design objectives for which a control system is actually, you may actually have to manipulate the system to serve many control objectives. So what are the various control objectives and how they are quantified? First and foremost control objective is to ensure stability of the system. Ensure stability of the system. I'll go into the details of these things. Plainly and simply speaking, if a system is stable, then only it can be of any use. If the system is unstable, you cannot use it unless you stabilize it. So you may have to, first of all, the first control objective is to ensure that the system is stable. And once you have ensured that the system is stable, then the other control objective is to ensure that the desired steady state response is achieved. You can drink it. Chat सुन लो. Second control objective, once you have ensured the stability of the system, the second control objective is to ensure that the desired steady state response is achieved. You already know what is the steady state response. You already know that the dynamical systems have got two components of their response, time response. One is the transient component of the response, and another is the steady state component of the response. As far as the user is concerned, or as far as the actual application is concerned, we are more interested in getting the desired steady state response from the system. But then, since the system is dynamic, transient response cannot be what we call avoided. We will have a transient component of the response. So we also have to ensure that during that transient period, the system behaves in a proper manner. Are you getting me? So the first and foremost control objective when you design a system is to ensure that the system is stable. And once you have ensured system stability, then the next control objective that you have to ensure is that the desired steady state response is achieved. And while achieving the desired steady state response, because you cannot avoid the transient component of the response, you have to ensure that the steady state is achieved with after or steady state is achieved with acceptable transient or achieved after acceptable transient response. Means जब तक system steady state में आ जाएगा, whenever you actually apply an input to a system, you know that the response, because the system is a dynamic system, it will have the transient component of the response. That means transient component is that component which is before the steady state has been achieved. So while the system is going through that transitory period, the reason it's known as transient, because it's going to change, it's not going to stay for a long time. But for whatever time it stays, the system should not, it should be acceptable. Like you have studied second order systems. Second order systems में जब आप step input apply करते हो, ये आपका time है, ये आपका YT है, आपने इस system में step input apply किया, और ये system मान लीजिए under damped है, तो इसका response कैसा होगा? This is the step input, unit step input that I have applied. To a second order system. How do we represent the transfer function of a second order system? Yes, help me. How do you represent the transfer function of a second order system? Omega n square upon
S square plus zeta omega n, so 2 times zeta omega n, S plus omega n square.
Okay. Now this xi is between 0 and 1. Like this. What is such a second order system known as?
Underdamped.
Underdamped.
It's an underdamped system. And what will be its step response like? It will be like this. Isn't it? You must have studied the underdamped system response and this underdamped response. So there are various ways on the basis of which its transient response is quantified. System is stable because its damping is positive. It's a stable system. So after some time, it's expected to reach some steady state. But before it reaches the final steady state, there are some transients in between. It is actually this component of the response is known as transient response. And there are various ways on the basis of which this transient response is quantified. So how have you quantified the transient response of second order systems? What are the main parameters on the basis of which you quantify the transient response of second order systems? Yes, tell me. Maximum overshoot. Isn't it? Maximum overshoot. क्योंकि इसका रिस्पॉन्स ऑसिलेटरी है तो पहली बार मैं ही ओवरशूट इसका मैक्सिमम होगा. So what is that maximum overshoot that quantifies the transient response? And second most important parameter that quantifies the transient response is, yes, what is the second most important component? एक तो हो गया मैक्सिमम ओवरशूट जिसकी बेसिस पे ट्रांजिएंट रिस्पांस क्वांटिफाई किया जाता है, और दूसरा कौन सा कंपोनेंट है सेकंड ऑर्डर सिस्टम्स के लिए?
So settling time.
Settling time, very good. Second is settling time. What information did settling time give us?
और कितने टाइम बाद the steady state will occur. Steady state will start occurring.
Yes, कितने टाइम के बाद स्टेडी स्टेट अचीव हो जाएगा? तो उसमें आपने देखा होगा कि वो हम टॉलरेंस बैंड्स डिफाइन करते हैं, टाइप 2% टॉलरेंस बैंड और 5% टॉलरेंस बैंड, और उसकी बेसिस पे हम सेटलिंग टाइम डिफाइन करते हैं. ये दो कंपोनेंट्स हैं जो कि सेकंड ऑर्डर सिस्टम्स या इन जनरल हायर ऑर्डर सिस्टम्स के ट्रांजिएंट रिस्पांस को भी डिफाइन करता है. व्हेन आई से एक्सेप्टेबल ट्रांजिएंट रिस्पांस, आई मीन कि ओवरशूट कितना हो. The overshoot should not be too high so that the system actually is damaged because of that high magnitude of overshoot, even if it's for a very small amount of time. Like you must have seen in you are actually studying motors and all that. You must have seen that at starting motors draw a huge amount of current. पढ़ा होगा आपने?
Yes sir.
तो ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ करंट ड्रॉ करते हैं. वो एक्चुअली ट्रांजिएंट रिस्पांस ही होता है उसका, लेकिन उस टाइम में भी वो करंट उतनी ज्यादा एक्सीड नहीं करनी चाहिए कि सिस्टम डैमेज हो जाए. So the overshoot has to be kept within limits. Similarly, after how much time the system takes to settle down, that's also important, because system must not take too large time to settle down. So in that case, the system may not be useful if its settling time is too high. Unfortunately, these transient response के जो parameters हैं जो transient response को define करते हैं, ये आपस में contradictory होते हैं. That means आप overshoot को कम करने की कोशिश करोगे तो सिस्टम स्लो हो जाता है नॉर्मली, मींस इसको सेटल होने में टाइम लगता है. बट देन व्हेन वी डिजाइन सिस्टम्स वी हैव टू हैव सम एक्सेप्टेबल ट्रांजिएंट रिस्पांस. दैट्स व्हाई आई हैव रिटन द वर्ड एक्सेप्टेबल. इट मे नॉट बी द बेस्ट, it has to be acceptable. So you have to ensure that the steady state is achieved after acceptable transient response, with an acceptable transient response. Is that clear? तो कंट्रोल, जब भी आप किसी कंट्रोल सिस्टम को डिजाइन करते हो, किसी भी सिस्टम को डिजाइन करते हो, तो ये तीन चीजें आपने इंश्योर करनी होती हैं. सबसे पहली जो है स्टेबिलिटी, इट्स द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, क्योंकि जब सिस्टम स्टेबल होगा तभी सेकंड और थर्ड पॉइंट का कोई मीनिंग है. इफ द सिस्टम इज अनस्टेबल, व्हाट विल बी द ट्रांजिएंट रिस्पांस ऑफ द सिस्टम लाइक? If the system is unstable, for an unstable second order system, what will be the response like?
Strictly improper.
Yes?
सर अनस्टेबल है तो सेटल कैसे होगा? फिर सेटल ही
वो सेटल ही नहीं होगा, वो स्टेडी स्टेट में आएगा ही नहीं. मैं ट्रांजिएंट रिस्पांस की बात कर रहा हूँ. उसका पूरा रिस्पांस ट्रांजिएंट रिस्पांस ही होगा. मींस वो ट्रांजिएंट क्या कहेंगे उसको, वो तो खत्म होगा ही नहीं कभी. उसका जो ट्रांजिएंट है वो इंक्रीज होगा विद टाइम, है ना? अगर आप सेकंड ऑर्डर सिस्टम, अनस्टेबल सेकंड ऑर्डर सिस्टम को स्टेप इनपुट अप्लाई करते हो तो इसका रिस्पांस ऐसे बढ़ेगा. It will be a diverging response. It will never be able to achieve the steady state. So that means second and third point has got no significance for unstable systems. So when you design control systems, the first and foremost objective of a system is to ensure the stability of the system, and then the other parameters. These are written in the decreasing order of importance. That means the first and foremost thing that you have to ensure is the stability. Then you are interested in the transient response. That's your response of interest. But transient response in dynamical systems cannot be achieved before this steady state response cannot be achieved. You cannot avoid transient response. So you have to control the transient response of the system also. You have to make sure that the transient response is acceptable. You get transient response within some acceptable limits. So these are the control objectives. Now, if I go back to your fourth semester course, you have studied stability. You have a system, let's say. Some system is there whose transfer function you know. This is Rs and this is Ys. Now this system is characterized by transfer function Gs. That's what we have done in your fourth semester. and mathematically you define this stability. You try to correlate this concept of stability to some mathematical properties of GS. We have seen that in your 4th semester course that for a system to be stable, for an LTI system to be stable, its transfer function or the poles of its transfer function must lie exclusively in the left half of the S-plane. Must lie exclusively in the left half of the S-plane. You have done this, isn't it? आपके पास एक सिस्टम है, ये S-plane है. This is sigma, this is j omega. So how do you quantify stability? You know that stability is a physical property, but we are trying to get this information through mathematics, and we have seen that for an LTI system to be stable, the poles of its transfer function must lie exclusively in the left half of the S-plane, like this. This may be one of the configurations. But if your system is like this is S-plane, you have a second order system, you have got two poles, one is here and another is here. So there, in this case, one of the poles lies in the right half of the S-plane, the system is unstable. Can you tell me why is it like this? That if the poles lie in the left half of the S-plane, the system is stable, and if some of the poles lie in the right half of the S-plane, the system is unstable?
So error in steady state becomes large when it is in the right half of the S-plane.
What becomes large? No.
Sir, error I guess.
नहीं, जब हम अनस्टेबल सिस्टम की बात करेंगे तो स्टेडी स्टेट का जिक्र ही नहीं आएगा. You get me? There is nothing like steady state for an unstable system.
अनबाउंडेड रिस्पांस आता है, राइट हाफ.
सिस्टम रिस्पांस अनबाउंडेड आता है, लेकिन आपने मैथमेटिकली देखा है ये ऐसा क्यों होता है? मैथमेटिकली कैसी फंक्शन आती है इसके रिस्पांस में?
द राइजिंग एक्सपोनेंशियल,
राइजिंग एक्सपोनेंट विद ए पॉजिटिव पावर. राइजिंग एक्सपोनेंशियल टर्म आ जाती है. जैसे फर्स्ट ऑर्डर सिस्टम का रिस्पांस आपने देखा होगा, फर्स्ट ऑर्डर सिस्टम्स का टाइम रिस्पांस, स्टेप रिस्पांस क्या होता है? If you have a first order system whose transfer function is 1 upon 1 plus st, you apply step input to it, that is rs, and you get an output cs. What is the time response of the system for a unit step input? Yes. Yeah, nahi hai. You have a first order system to which you are applying a unit step input. What will be the response of the system like? Rule number 1, Reis है आपका नाम?
Yes sir.
हाँ जी, बताओ इसका response कैसा होगा?
I don't remember sir.
You don't remember? This is not something
No,
that you
sir.
should forget. At least graphically, do you know what should be the response like? Step input आप apply कर रहे हो first order system को. What will be the response like?
One minus e to the power minus t upon t.
ये कैसे याद आया? You cannot forget your name. This is just like forgetting your name, saying that I don't know the response of the system. 1 minus e to the power minus t upon t. Minus t. This is actually important. So because of this, the response will be something like this. It will come to steady state after some time. It actually join this step जो input function में apply कर रहे हैं, उसको ये follow करेगा, but with some transient. और जो ट्रांजिएंट डिफाइन होगा किससे? टाइम कांस्टेंट से, टी से. Is that okay? And for getting this function as 1 minus e to the power minus t upon t, it is necessary that the system has got its pole in the left half of the S-plane. This is S-plane. मैं first order system का pole plot बना रहा हूँ. This is sigma and this is j omega. For a system to be stable, it is necessary that its pole be located in the left half of the S-plane. Can you tell me where will the pole of the system located for a first order, second order, sorry, for a stable first order system? Can this be the pole location?
No, sir.
Can this? Why?
सर इसमें फिर साइनोसॉइडल कंपोनेंट भी आएगा.
नहीं, क्या ये पोल लोकेशन पहले हो सकती है फर्स्ट ऑर्डर सिस्टम के लिए? क्या किसी फर्स्ट ऑर्डर सिस्टम के लिए ये पोल लोकेशन हो सकती है? रोल नंबर 3. रोल नंबर 3, are you in the class? Roll number 4. Who is roll number 4? Priya. Roll number 3. Roll number 3. Can you hear me? ये रोज रोज का ड्रामा नहीं चलेगा तुम्हारा. Roll number 3, can you hear me? Roll number 4. Roll number 4, is he unmuted? Roll number 4?
Yes.
What's the name of this?
Muzammil.
Who is Muzammil? Roll number 4. 5. 5 का क्या नाम? नासिर. आप सबको मैं फेल कर दूंगा. रोल नंबर 6. 7.
Yes, sir.
You are roll number 7.
Yes, sir.
Were you absent yesterday?
No, sir.
You were in the class?
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Sir, Jahanvi Saini. You asked me the state transition matrix.
Okay, now tell me about this system. I'm drawing the pole plot of a first order system. I'm asking you a question. Can this be the pole location
No, sir.
for a stable first order system? Why?
Sir, I can see the transfer function there. So if I calculate the pole, that should be minus 1 upon t. That should lie on the real axis. There is no imaginary part.
That's okay. But mathematically speaking, can the because this pole actually is complex, what I have drawn here,
Yes.
isn't it? Can
Yes, sir.
complex pole exist without its conjugate? A complex
No,
pole can never
No, sir.
exist without its conjugate.
No, sir.
So that's why for a first order system, the pole must necessarily be on the real axis. Are you getting me? And for a stable
Yes, sir.
first order system, this can be the pole location anywhere on this negative real axis. And when the pole will be on the negative real axis, you will get this type of response for the system: 1 minus e to the power minus t upon t. Are you getting me? Now
Yes,
imagine
sir.
a situation wherein the pole is located in the right half. In that particular case, you will get the response like 1 minus e to the power t upon t. This minus will not be there. That will actually correspond to a rising exponential curve, which will actually correspond to an unstable system. Is that clear? Roll number 3. Can you hear me now? Yes, left again. Roll number 4. Roll number 4 is there. 5 is there.
Yes.
Roll number 5. 7, I have already talked to 8. Roll number 8.
Yes, sir.
What's your name, beta?
Sonori.
Okay, आप बताओ मुझे, is this system that I am showing here, is this stable or unstable? The system for which I am showing the pole locations here, is this system stable or unstable?
The unstable.
Why is it unstable? Yes, why is it unstable?
Sir, because I guess क्योंकि pole इसमें present है on the axis.
Pole is not present on the axis. Does that make it unstable? The condition for stability I have written.
ये right hand side के plane में है pole, that's why it's unstable.
Right half of the S-plane में एक pole है, that's why it's unstable. It'll have a rising exponential function in its response, which will actually make it unstable, and this system will never be able to achieve steady state. Is that
Yes,
okay?
sir.
So stability, as I have told you, it's one of the primary criteria, primary control objectives. That means the system should be stable. Now, system stability is something. अच्छा, ये तो एक हो गया absolute stability की बात. Second point, even if the system is stable, sometimes the design engineer or the control engineer may want to improve the stability of the system. You must have been taught the concept of relative stability in your fourth semester. Did the teacher concerned talk about relative stability? So there are two concepts in stability. One is absolute stability. This is all revision that I am doing. Then we have got relative stability. Absolute stability is asking yourself a question: is the system stable or not? This is the question you ask yourself. The answer to this question can be yes or no. Okay? If the answer to this question is yes, then it's okay. Then you can use the system. But if the answer to this question is no, in that case, you ask yourself one more question. Can the system be stabilized? Can the system be stabilized? What do you mean by stabilizing the system? Can I do something with the system to stabilize it, to make it stable? This is what I had written in the topic of my lecture as stabilizability. That means we want to assess the system for its stabilizability. How do we do that? I will come to that. You must have learned feedback. आपने स्टडी किया है फोर्थ सेमेस्टर में. आपको सर ने कहा होगा कि फीडबैक से हम सिस्टम की परफॉर्मेंस इंप्रूव करते हैं. तो जो सिस्टम अनस्टेबल है, फीडबैक लगा के उसको स्टेबलाइज किया जा सकता है. लेकिन अनफॉर्चुनेटली कभी कभी क्या होता है, फीडबैक लगाने से कोई स्टेबल सिस्टम भी अनस्टेबल हो जाता है. तो वो चीजें डिजाइन इंजीनियर को देखनी पड़ती हैं. तो अगर आपका सिस्टम स्टेबल है तो ठीक है, you may proceed with using the system. But if the system is unstable, you have to ask yourself a question: can the system be stabilized? The answer to this question also has to be in the form of yes or no. Is that clear? So if the answer to this question is yes, that the system can be stabilized, how do you do that? We'll come to that. That the system can be stabilized, then you can proceed to use the system. You can proceed to stabilize the system. Stabilize the system. And if the answer to this question is no, then the system cannot be used. System is not fit to be used. A system which is not stable and cannot be stabilized, it cannot be used at all. A system which is stable, it's okay, you can use it. If the system is stable and stabilizable, you have to do something so that the system is stabilized. That's actually one of the design objectives, control objectives. That means you sometimes have to design a controller in such a way. You have to design a controller wherein the objective is to stabilize the system. The system was initially unstable, but you have seen that the system can be stabilized. So you proceed to stabilize the system, and then further you can use it. But if the system is unstable and stabilizable, that is something that allows the system to be used. But if the system is unstable and not stabilizable, system is not fit to be used. You have to just throw the system. It is a system that is not actually a usable or a useful system. Are you getting me? Do you get me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
दूसरा कॉन्सेप्ट जो मैं स्टेबिलिटी का आपको बता रहा था, दैट इज रिलेटिव स्टेबिलिटी. सिस्टम स्टेबल है, लेकिन you try to make it more stable. Like if you have a system like this is sigma, this is j omega, this is the S plane. This is the location of poles for the system. एक सिस्टम के लिए, this is system 1. And this is another system. System 2. Second order system ये भी है. दोनों सिस्टम स्टेबल हैं. सिस्टम 1 में भी और सिस्टम 2 में भी पोल्स जो हैं वो लेफ्ट हाफ ऑफ द एस प्लेन में है. सेकेंड ऑर्डर सिस्टम्स हैं ये दोनों, लेकिन इसमें स्टेबल ज्यादा कौन होगा? Which will be more stable. Yes, tell me. Stability, relative stability is actually assessed in terms of the distance of the poles from the left half, from the imaginary axis. इन दोनों केसेस में पोल्स जो है वो लेफ्ट हाफ ऑफ द एस प्लेन में लोकेटेड है. सिस्टम 1 में भी सिस्टम 2 में भी. लेकिन ये जो सिस्टम 1 है इसके पोल्स क्लोजर हैं टू द इमेजिनरी एक्सिस. सिस्टम 2 के जो पोल्स हैं दैट इज फार अवे फ्रॉम द इमेजिनरी एक्सिस. सिस्टम 2 इज मोर स्टेबल एज कंपेयर्ड टू सिस्टम 1. It's more stable. The relative stable. This is what is known as relative stability. That means you try to compare the stability of two systems. जैसे मान लीजिए आपको एक सिस्टम दिया गया है, वो स्टेबल है, लेकिन उसके जो पोल्स हैं, you are not actually satisfied with the extent of stability that the system has. So you may design a controller to actually improve the stability of the system, to make the system more stable. Are you getting me? That is actually known as relative stability. तो ये मैं आपको कोशिश कर रहा हूँ ये बताने की कि हम कंट्रोलर्स एक्चुअली सिस्टम के लिए किस चीज के लिए डिजाइन करते हैं. एक तो क्राइटेरिया हो गया सिंपल कि अगर सिस्टम स्टेबल है, the first question that you ask yourself is the system stable or not? The answer is yes. Then the next question that you may ask yourself is the system stable to the desired? Has the system got a desired level of stability? If it is yes, then it's okay. If not, then you may want to improve the stability of the system. That is something that is covered under the topic relative stability. But if the system is not stable, then the second question that you ask yourself is, can the system be stabilized? Can I stabilize the system? Can I design a controller in such a way that I can stabilize the system? In that particular case, you can proceed actually to stabilize the system and then use it. But if the system is not stable, stabilizable, then that system is actually not a useful system. It cannot be used for any practical application. Is that clear? Do you get me?
Yes, sir.
तो ये सभी चीजें हमने कंट्रोल सिस्टम्स में ये जो हमारा जो टॉपिक अभी हमने लिया हुआ है, ये हम इसमें सभी चीजें पहले हम स्टेबिलिटी को डिफाइन करने की कोशिश करेंगे फ्रॉम स्टेट स्पेस पर्सपेक्टिव. वी हैव ऑलरेडी डन दैट अर्लियर आल्सो. वी हैव सीन दैट फॉर अ सिस्टम टू बी स्टेबल, its eigenvalues must be located in the left half of the S plane. It must be located in the left half of the S plane. For a system, eigenvalues of the system must be located in the left half of the S plane. And then we have also to see that whether we can actually ये जो stabilizability का concept है उसके साथ हम और कुछ चीजें भी relate करने की कोशिश करेंगे जो मैंने start में topic में लिखा था. Controllability, observability, all these things we'll try to just integrate all these concepts and arrive at some suitable theory to actually assess the various criteria and design the system for the desired specification. जो भी specifications define की होंगी उसके लिए हम इसको design करने की कोशिश करेंगे. Is that clear? तो थोड़ा थोड़ा सा आइडिया मैं आपको दे दूं इसका डिजाइन का। आपके पास एक फर्स्ट ऑर्डर सिस्टम है 1/1 प्लस st, इसकी ट्रांसफर फंक्शन है। इसको मैं स्टेप इनपुट अप्लाई कर रहा हूँ, ये rs है, ये cs है। मैं स्टेप इनपुट एक्चुअली अप्लाई कर रहा हूँ। आई एम अप्लाइंग स्टेप इनपुट rt, दैट्स व्हाट इज बीइंग अप्लाइड एक्चुअली। तो rt का जो लैप्लस है वो rs होगा, तो दैट बी इक्वल टू 1/s। तो यहाँ से cs मिलेगा, cs का मैंने इनवर्स लैप्लस लिया and I get ct. So for first order systems, you know that ct is equal to 1 minus e to the power minus t upon t. Assume that the system is stable. The response of the system is going to be like this. This is t, this is ct. I am applying a unit step input to it. So this is how the response will actually evolve. Now let's say you must have been taught what's the time constant of the system. That actually defines how fast the system actually rises to the final steady state. So the rate of rise of this system is governed by this time constant t. If I want to make the system fast, what should I do with the time constant? Yes, I'm asking you a question.
Should be decreased. Time
Should be
constant
decreased.
should be decreased.
Should be decreased. तो टाइम कांस्टेंट कैसे कम करूं मैं सिस्टम का? एक सिंपल तरीका ये है कि मैं एक नया सिस्टम लेके आऊं, ठीक है ना? जैसे मान लीजिए मुझे टाइम कांस्टेंट सिस्टम का हाफ करना है। मैं चाहता हूं कि इसका रिस्पांस जो है फास्ट राइज करे। जैसे कैपेसिटर्स के केस में चार्जिंग टाइम जो कैपेसिटर का है वो मैं कम करना चाहता हूं। मैं कैपेसिटर को जल्दी चार्ज करना चाहता हूं। The charging time of the capacitor will be governed by its time constant. What's the time constant of an RC circuit given by?
RC.
RC. तो मैं चाहता हूं कि मैं सिस्टम का टाइम कांस्टेंट जो है वो कम करूं। मैं सिस्टम के रिस्पांस को फास्ट करना चाहता हूं। तो मेरे पास एक सिंपल तरीका ये है कि मैं सिस्टम को रिप्लेस करके एक नया सिस्टम लेके आऊं जिसका कि टाइम कांस्टेंट पहले वाले सिस्टम का हाफ हो। Isn't it? But is that an engineering solution to the problem? मेरे पास एक सिस्टम है, मेरे पास मान लीजिए मैं क्लासरूम में पढ़ा रहा हूं, आई एम नॉट सेटिस्फाइड विद द परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स. Is it a feasible option that I ask for a new set of students?
No, sir.
The feasible solution. जो existing lot है, I have to somehow make them work in a way so that I get a desired response from the system, isn't it? तो existing lot पे मुझे कुछ करना है ताकि उनका सिस्टम रिस्पांस इंप्रूव हो जाए. तो जो existing lot पे जो चीज मैं करूंगा, that's actually control. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So, one of the ways of improving the response is to use feedback. जैसे यही वाला सिस्टम है मेरा, इसको अगर मैं ऐसे यूज करूं, this is 1/1 plus st. I use a unity feedback system like this. This is plus, this is minus, this is rs, and this is cs. What will be the transfer function of this system? I have actually modified the system. I have used a unity feedback in this. What will I get the response of this? What will I get the transfer function of this system as? Yes. GS upon 1 plus GSHS, isn't it? That is 1/1 plus ST upon 1 plus 1/1 plus ST. That is 1/2 plus ST. So yeah, that is 1/T, 1 plus ST upon 2. ठीक है ना? Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
तो ये जो नया सिस्टम बना, इसका टाइम कांस्टेंट कितना है?
T/2.
T/2. तो पहले सिस्टम का टाइम कांस्टेंट कितना था?
T.
मैं टाइम कांस्टेंट का हाफ कर पाया.
Yes.
सिस्टम को फास्ट किया मैंने, लेकिन साथ ही एट सम कॉस्ट. If I try to plot its response, this is T, this is CT. I apply unit step input to this. अगर मैं इसका रिस्पांस प्लॉट करूं, आई विल गेट अ फास्टर रिस्पांस, बट देयर विल बी
Lesser gain.
there will be a steady state error of 1/2, है ना? सिस्टम इज स्टेबल क्योंकि सेटल हो गया, टाइम कांस्टेंट पॉजिटिव ही है इसका, मैं सिस्टम को फास्ट कर पाया, बट एट द सेम टाइम बिकॉज ऑफ व्हाट आई हैव डन, a steady state error has been introduced in the system. तो एक प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने निकला था, दूसरी प्रॉब्लम खड़ी हो गई, isn't it? So कंट्रोल इंजीनियर का ब्रेन चलने लगा, तो उसने क्या किया? So he just put some factor k here. ठीक है? This is what is controller. k डाल के बताओ इसकी ट्रांसफर फंक्शन क्या आएगी फिर, अगर मैं यहाँ पे k फॉरवर्ड लूप में डाल दूं, क्योंकि फीडबैक का जो एक इफेक्ट होता है वो ये होता है कि इससे गेन कम हो जाता है, तो गेन कम होने की वजह से ही इसका स्टेडी स्टेट एरर कम हो गया, because earlier the system was being driven directly by this unit step input. Now in case of a feedback system, the system is driven by the error. That's why its gain reduces and you get a steady state error in the system. तो नई प्रॉब्लम खड़ी हो गई, अब आपको स्टेडी स्टेट एरर को कम करना है, उसके लिए एक और सोल्यूशन मैं दे रहा हूं आपको कि यहाँ पे हम बीच में एक गेन ब्लॉक डालेंगे जिसका कि गेन k है, तो इस सिस्टम का ट्रांसफर फंक्शन क्या बनेगा? It will be like this, k upon 1 plus st upon 1 plus k upon 1 plus st. Isn't it? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Try क्या आएगा? This is k upon k plus 1 upon 1 plus s t upon k plus 1. ये देखो ये आएगा क्या?
Yes, sir.
ये आएगा ना? This is your what we call this becomes your transfer function, closed loop transfer function. तो इस सिस्टम का टाइम कांस्टेंट क्या बना? The time constant of
T upon K plus.
T upon K plus 1. If you increase K, what will happen to T? Is going to decrease. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
If you increase K, the time constant is going to decrease. That means the system is going to become faster. And what will be the steady state error? Steady state error इसमें क्या होगा? Steady state error कैसे ऑब्टेन करते हैं?
1 by K plus 1.
Steady state error इसमें basically 1 minus K upon K plus 1 आएगा, है ना? That is 1 upon K plus 1. What will happen if you increase K? What will happen to ESS? It is going to
Degrees.
decrease. तो जितना आप K बढ़ाओगे उतना steady state error कम होता जाएगा. Although steady state error को zero बनाने के लिए आपको K को infinity बनाना होगा, जो कि possible नहीं है, which is not possible actually. But with very high values of K, you can go on decreasing the steady state error, as well as you can actually improve the transient performance of the system. You can also make the system faster, slow. तो ये K डालने से और ये configuration change करने से system की आपको एक handle मिल गया, जिससे कि आप एक सिस्टम का steady state performance भी control कर पा रहे हो, और at the same time you are also adjusting the transient performance of the system. Is that clear? This is the beauty of
Yes,
control. This is the beauty of control. Yes.
हेलो सर,
Yes.
इस K को हम यहाँ पे जो बीच में जो डाल रहे हैं, अगर हम CS से जस्ट पहले डाल देते तो मतलब हमारे पिछले केस में ही CS मतलब आउटपुट से जस्ट पहले डाल देते, फीडबैक जहाँ पर हम लिए हैं उसके बाद डालते K को.
यहाँ पे
नो सर उसके बाद उसके राइट हैंड साइड में.
यहाँ पे
यस सर वहाँ पे K डाल देते तो हमको पिछले प्रॉब्लम में ही हमारा प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं हो जाता.
नहीं, आप अगर K को वहां पर डाल देते तो आपका जो टाइम कांस्टेंट है वो हाफ हो पाता है ना.
यस सर, टाइम कांस्टेंट हाफ हो जाता और K = 2 रखते तो हमारा पिछले प्रॉब्लम में ही प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाता. मतलब ये जो गेन कम हो रहा है.
ठीक है, दैट्स ओके, बट यू वुड नॉट गेट अ टाइम कांस्टेंट हाफ किया आपने, लेकिन मान लीजिए अब आपको टाइम कांस्टेंट 1/4 करना है, तो उस केस में क्या करोगे?
सर उस केस में K को फिर से मतलब उस हिसाब से बदल लेंगे. यहाँ पे HS को बदल लेंगे हम, मतलब नीचे वाला जो ये जो फीडबैक है ना सर, फीडबैक में हम कुछ लगा देंगे ब्लॉक HS यहाँ पे 1 है अभी, उस HS को हम चेंज कर लेंगे accordingly.
Basically by adjusting the parameters within the system, you can actually try to improve the various performance criteria of the system. चाहे आप उसको फीडबैक में लगाओ वो एक डिफरेंट कंट्रोलर बन जाता है, चाहे आप फॉरवर्ड पाथ में लगाओ तो वो एक डिफरेंट कंट्रोलर बन जाता है। ये जो आपने कॉन्फ़िगरेशन सजेस्ट की है एक डिफरेंट कंट्रोल की कॉन्फ़िगरेशन है, तो डिफरेंट
अच्छा ये एग्जिस्ट करती है लेकिन मतलब ये हो सकता है, ये पॉसिबल एग्जिस्ट करती है मतलब ये भी।
yes, these configurations do exist. All these configurations exist. Basically, the purpose is that you should be able to have some handle to control the steady state as well as transient performance of the system. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
तो कंट्रोल ऑब्जेक्टिव्स किसी न किसी तरीके से मीट करने हैं। तो ये दिस इज ऑल वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। यू एक्चुअली कैन ट्राई डिफरेंट कॉन्फ़िगरेशंस एंड ट्राई टू सी हाउ द सिस्टम परफॉर्मेंस विल बी इम्प्रूव्ड। नाउ ऑल दीस, ये तो मैंने ट्रांसफर फंक्शन के केस में बताया। बेसिकली वी आर कंसंट्रेटिंग प्रेजेंट ऑन द स्टेडी स्टेट जो एनालिसिस है, स्टेट स्पेस एनालिसिस पे। तो ये सारी चीजें मैं स्टेबिलिटी की, रिलेटिव स्टेबिलिटी की, फिर उसके बाद स्टेबलाइजेबिलिटी की और कंट्रोलेबिलिटी ऑब्जर्वेबिलिटी के जो कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं ये हम आगे क्लियर करने की कोशिश करेंगे। इज दैट क्लियर? Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We'll stop this time. We'll take up the next topic in our Friday's class. Okay. Let's go through these things. And tomorrow is your lab class. All of you should come prepared with the lab reports. None of you, हम हर एक lab class में ही वो particular lab report जो है उसको evaluate करेंगे. And that will add up in the final grades that you get for the lab. And you also, I think, have to submit the tutorial also tomorrow. Is it?
Yes, sir.
तो वो tutorial भी आप कल submit करोगे. Thank you all.